So we're at Alonso's this morning. He's out here helping me. He's rented a transit here so we can get our elevations. And what we're referencing off of is the level of the road. Now, I've told you guys before out here that the county road running through here runs north to south, and the water wants to run east to west. So when we get a big rain, the water actually all backs up on this side of the road and then spills over the road. There's just not enough culverts, which means all of Alonso's place in here floods. So he has to make sure that his house is significantly higher than the road. Now, significantly, we figure, 2 feet. Because even Hurricane Harvey, there wasn't a foot of water across the road, and that was 44 inches or whatever. So 2 feet above the road is what we're shooting for. We should be plenty fine. And actually, it's surprising. I'm standing here looking out at the road, and I feel like, we're almost going uphill towards the road. But he actually went ahead and is already kind of getting ahead of me shooting some elevations. And he marked here, this orange on the base of the tree is actually the level of the road. So we'll come up, 2 feet above that. So that actually makes me really happy because I feel like we're lower than the road here, but we're actually, we're an inch or two lower than the road. But looking out into the clearing, my little dirt road there that I built up is already significantly higher than the road. So that gives me a little better reassurance. But anyway, we're gonna get out here with the transit and start setting the corners for where his pad's gonna be. And then I can go to town on, on hauling dirt and getting his pad built up. Well, it ain't perfect by any means, but sitting here in the excavator from a distance, it actually looks pretty good. We got the corners set. I don't know if you can see that white T-post. There's a log sticking up, but there's a T-post just to the left of it. You should be able to see the T-post over there in the far corner, and that corner it's in the shadow, and of course here's one right here. So we measured the 4 corners. His pad is basically 100 by 80. The foundation of the house is supposed to be 90 by 63 or something like that. So give a little extra. And then I just went through and just stripped out about 1 foot of the organics. You can see there's a couple little patches of grass out there that I missed that just slipped between the teeth of the bucket. But the biggest thing I wanted to get out was all this wood debris, all the roots and chunks of logs and stuff like that. I actually did find a few more little stumps that I guess had broken off when I was clearing. It actually looks like right there, whoopsie finger, right there looks kind of like a shredded stump. I might have to spend a little more time on, but I didn't want to go digging a big hole out there in the middle trying to get out what seemed like a little stump here and there. We're gonna come in on top of this now with about 3 feet of 3 to 4 feet actually of clay. I don't see any way that his pond has enough in it. We're gonna end up having to expand the pond. So this row of pine trees that all died, those are all gonna get knocked out, and so the pond is gonna come closer to us this direction to get more clay, because there's just no way he's gonna have enough. Of what I stockpiled, it might be enough to do his first foot. This stuff just disappears once you start packing it down. So anyway, got it all stripped off, piled up. All this that's piled off to the side, once we start to gain elevation with the clay, then we'll pull all this stuff back up against it just to give you a nice slope away from the pad. That's the plan. So that's it. Keep working. So we are back to work at Alonso's finally. A month lost due to Rosie being broke with the slack adjuster, and then a week worth of 16 inches of rain and then letting it drain off and dry up. But I got in here yesterday afternoon and finally got the track and everything put back together, and I just kind of drove around a little bit, kind of scratched some dirt just to get comfortable in the machine again, maybe more than anything. But I started flipping more of the overburden, so I'm clearing off. That's basically down on top of good clay there. Flipping overburden over here, and ultimately he's wanting to have a driveway, and my main access driveway going right out, straight out here to the road, but it'll be overcrowding. It'll kind of crowd these pine trees. These are still alive here. They're still alive for now, and we'd like to keep it that way, but I've got to try to expand his pond as much as I can right in here to get more clay to help build up his house pad. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to establish basically this driveway here and figure out what my limit is on how close I can come with the pond, and go ahead and get that pond bank sloped down and kind of figured out. And then all the rest of the overburden that comes out of that area will get flipped over into here to start pushing over and build up. His garage will eventually be right in here. So he'll be able to come in this side driveway and just swoop over to the garage, or he'll be able to come in this main driveway here and basically run over where I'm standing, and he would come in this side and then have to kind of curve out and around to go into the garage. So all of this area in here needs to all get built up ultimately. And I've got a good bit of overburden in here to do it with. It's not going to be built up this high. I mean, right now we're 3 feet above grade. He doesn't need to be. He needs to be about a foot above grade to establish, you know, all season traffic, especially once you add a couple inches of base and a couple inches of rock, then he'll be fine. So for right now, I'm building the driveway way higher than it needs to be, just to kind of get it, like I said, established and get things out of the way, and then I'll start cutting out more of this overburden to access all the good clay that I need. Coming in here on the house pad where we started dumping clay, again, this is heaped up about as high as it needs to actually go, which is really pretty high. We're going 2 feet above grade. And yesterday I got out here on this is good and solid. And yesterday I just used my bucket and I pushed out, looks like I got a little leak there, but ultimately just pushed out that wall of water. I've got the water pump running over here, and this is all just rainwater that fell in here because we dredged out this hole. So I've got to get it all pumped off, so I'm not trying to dump good clay on top of water. I dug a little sump right there where the hose is at to drain. Hopefully that gets most of it. I know obviously there's high spots in the middle. The water out there is only a couple inches deep, so it's just a matter of how much of it finds its way over to that sump. I know we're not going to drain 100% of it. Maybe once it does drain off, maybe then I find a new spot that's deep and I have to go set the pump out there on a pallet in the middle of the hole or do something. I want to try to pump out as much water as possible, obviously, but at the same time I need to keep moving dirt in here. So today, diesel in the machine and continue flipping this overburden and trying to open up as much clay as possible, and then I want to see about getting Wilbur in here to actually start hauling some clay. That's the ideal. We shall see.